Imagine living in a small town where someone knows your deepest, darkest secrets, and they're not afraid to expose them. In 1976, the residents of Circleville, Ohio, began receiving anonymous letters that laid bare their most private affairs, fears, and hidden pasts. The author seemed omnipresent, watching everyone, knowing everything. No one was safe. The letters threatened, accused, and terrified. This wasn't just gossip, it was a full-scale psychological assault that would unnerve the town for decades. Just as the truth often reveals itself in unexpected ways, consider showing your support for uncovering the mysteries of our world. Your engagement matters more than you think. In the heart of Ohio, in the small town of Circleville, a mysterious saga began that would unsettle the community for decades. It all started in 1976, when several residents began receiving anonymous letters that exposed their darkest secrets. These letters were not just gossip, they contained deep, intimate knowledge about people's lives, their affairs, fears, and hidden pasts. The author, or authors, seemed to know everything about everyone. No one was safe from the accusations scrawled in those letters. Mary Gillespie, a local school bus driver, became the first major target of the anonymous writer. The letters accused her of having an affair with Garden Massey, the school superintendent. The mysterious correspondent made it clear that they knew exactly what was happening and warned Mary to end the affair or face dire consequences. Mary was shocked and deeply disturbed. She denied any wrongdoing, but the letters kept coming, their tone becoming more threatening. They even began to target her husband, Ron Gillespie. Ron received letters as well, warning him to control his wife and stop the supposed affair. The situation escalated in August 1977. Ron received a phone call, presumably from the letter writer, that seemed to provoke him. Furious, he grabbed his gun and stormed out of the house, telling his children he was going to confront the person behind the harassment. Hours later, Ron was found dead in his truck, which had crashed into a tree. The gun had been fired once, but no bullet was ever found, and Ron had no prior history of violent behavior. The sheriff ruled Ron's death an accident, citing alcohol as a contributing factor, even though those who knew Ron claimed he was not a heavy drinker. Rumors spread through the town. Was Ron driven off the road? Did the letter writer set a trap for him? The sense of unease deepened, and the letters didn't stop. In fact, they intensified. Mary Gillespie continued to receive threats, and soon the focus shifted to something even more menacing. Signs began to appear along Mary's bus route, filled with vulgar accusations about her and her family. One day, in 1983, she decided she had had enough. Spotting a particularly offensive sign along her route, she pulled over to take it down. As she removed the sign, she discovered it was booby-trapped with a loaded pistol intended to discharge upon tampering. Fortunately, the trap malfunctioned, sparing Mary's life, but the incident was enough to push the investigation forward. The police traced the gun to Paul Fressauer, Mary's brother-in-law. Paul was arrested and charged with attempted murder, despite his claims of innocence. The evidence was circumstantial, but it was compelling enough for a jury to convict him. Paul was sentenced to prison, and many believe the mystery had been solved. The letters, however, didn't stop. Even while Paul was incarcerated, Circleville residents continued to receive threatening letters, some postmarked from locations that would have been impossible for Paul to reach from his prison cell. Paul maintained his innocence throughout his imprisonment. He even passed a polygraph test, though some claimed the results were inconclusive. Meanwhile, the letters persisted, taunting law enforcement and spreading fear throughout the community. The writer seemed to know intimate details about the investigation, adding to the sense of paranoia. Who could be behind the letters, if not Paul? Did he have an accomplice, or was the true author still free, hiding among the very people they terrorized? Paul was released from prison in 1994 after serving 10 years. but the mystery of the Circleville Letters remained unsolved. No one ever discovered who the original author was or how they seemed to know so much about so many people. The town's residents were left to grapple with lingering suspicions and unanswered questions. For years, theories swirled. Was it someone close to Mary, a jealous neighbor, an estranged family member? Some even believed that more than one person was involved in a conspiracy aimed at discrediting and destroying reputations. The Circleville Letters are a chilling reminder of how secrets, suspicion, and fear can fester in a small community. They expose the vulnerabilities of everyday people, turning neighbors into potential enemies and leaving everyone wondering who among them might be capable of such calculated cruelty. To this day, the identity of the Circleville letter writer remains unknown, a phantom in the shadows of Ohio's history, leaving behind a legacy of distrust and an eerie sense of a story without an ending. The case, officially unsolved, lingers like a dark cloud over Circleville, a tale of whispered secrets and anonymous threats that blurred the line between fact and fiction. For many, it's not just about who wrote the letters, it's about the way a town can unravel when faced with the idea that someone is always watching, always knowing, and always ready to strike. The true legacy of the Circleville Letters is not merely the mystery of their author, but the atmosphere of fear and suspicion that continues to linger, a fear that still haunts Circleville today.